Welcome to Narratives and Nightcaps, Books, Beverages, and Author Conversations. We are back for a reading recap. I'm Bree.
I'm Jordan.
I'm Megan.
And I'm Emily.
Well
Look at us
done.
go.
Well
Oh,
done.
stop
That
it.
was so seamless. Well done. So good.
Careful. People might think we actually know what we're doing here. That was flawless.
Emily, if you don't say anything, then they do.
It's possible that we've hit over 100 episodes. Not obviously with the four of us, but you might think we know a thing or two about this.
About
Really?
over 100 episodes?
So we're either over it or we're approaching it. And when I knew we were approaching it, I was like, I'm going to create this cool post and then life. And so now I'm like, I don't actually know when that happened. It may have already happened or we're getting really close to it.
Hey, that's okay. That's exciting. I didn't know that.
Congrats. That's amazing.
I think it's incredible.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
We've either done it or we'll do it this year. Go team.
Go team. Oh my goodness. I love it.
Okay, well, I'm once again very excited to hear about your recent reads or just books you want to talk about for our reading recap this month. Megan, please kick it off for us.
Okay. So my first recap is the Next Mrs. Parrish book by Liv Constantine, which, fun fact, just found out that Liv Constantine is a sister combo. Don't know their real names. Haven't looked that up myself, but I finally saw that it's not one author, it's sisters writing together. So, fun fact.
Love that. Like,
Yes.
they're not sisters, but Christina Lauren.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Wait, aren't they sister-in-laws?
Oh, that I don't know.
Clearly, I
I
haven't
have no idea.
researched
don't
that
think
much.
they're,
I just know it's two
sisters.
people.
Okay. Yeah,
And you know
I
what?
can't
My
remember.
sister-in-law is my sister.
That is fair. That is fair.
Technicality. Anyway, so I just read The Next Mrs. Parrish, which is book 2 of, I guess, the Mrs. Parrish series, if you will. So the first one is called The First Mrs. Parrish. And I will give a brief plot context of that book because the second book just immediately picks up like where the first one dropped off. So if you have not read the first one, you might need to, or you'll have no idea who these people are. So, the plot of the first book is essentially this husband and wife, the Parishes. Daphne is the wife, Jackson is the husband. They live this very lavish life. They have basically everything they've wanted. He runs his own business very successfully. Of course, they have a deep, dark secret. He is, trigger warning, extremely abusive, like sexually, verbally, physically, etc. They have 2 young children together. And this new woman comes into the picture named Amber, and she is a money grabber, if you will. She is trying her best to get everything that she wants out of life, and she doesn't care who she puts down in order to make that happen for her. So she's trying to climb the ranks in this socialite life, and by doing so, she ends up seducing Jackson, Mr. Parrish, to then marry her and have a child with her. However, obviously for Daphne, she's like, bye, bitch. That was the worst husband I've ever met, so you can have him. So, book 2 continues the story of Amber, Jackson, and Daphne, who are forced back into each other's lives after a long forgotten threat resurfaces. Amber, a prominent socialite, is unsettled by Jackson's impending release from prison. So he's in prison because from book 1, Daphne and Amber kind of oddly teamed up together, pulled some strings, put him in jail because they soon realized that he was a piece of shit. So he's been in jail. And Amber, in the meantime, has been this widowed wife living lavishly off of his money as he's been in jail. Daphne, the original wife, has left the town that they lived in called Bishop's Harbor after her divorce, but however returns for her daughter's sake because they're both like, we want dad. They don't know how bad the situation was. And Jackson is unfortunately now back in their lives. However, when a ghost from Amber's past reemerges and seeks revenge, this is a real person, not actually a ghost. The three of them find themselves.
Disclaimer: no magical realism.
That's an important note.
Thank you for the clarification.
I don't know. I copy pasted this also, so these are not my words, but it is a real person, not a ghost. The three of them find themselves in a cat and mouse game with Amber potentially using her past to take down Jackson and Daphne all over again. So overall, I really enjoyed this book and series, but definitely felt that the first book was better. I think a lot of it was kind of the surprise element of like, Jackson is a really bad guy. Like, you don't know that leading into, because everything is so like, putting on a show, everything's so upbeat. It kind of reminds me a lot actually of the Housemaid series. Have you guys read any of those books? Like the
That's
first
one of
book
my
called
books.
Housemaid.
We're gonna talk about it. That was one of mine this month, and like,
Yes.
we'll get there. Yes.
So it felt very similar to me where, everything's going well. Like you only see this one point of view and then plot twist, everything is not what you think it is. So I think the first book did a much better job of that, in my opinion. This one seemed a little bit more far-fetched, and the ghost that they talk of from Amber's past is this like real like honky tonk kind of like Texas gal, and you're like, what the fuck is happening? And so I just thought like the addition of that and like that point of view felt very far-fetched. And I said also the way that the Texan accents are written in this book are just like so butchered, very, very comical. And I don't think they're trying to be, but everything's like, hey there, pretty lady. And like you can kind of build it up in your head what it sounds like. And you're just like, I don't know anyone who actually talks like that. So I was not the biggest fan of the second book. I'm still glad that I read it because I feel like, it's a series. I've got to see it through. But my opinion, first book was definitely the best. And then next fun fact, J-Lo is going to star in the Mrs. Parrish Netflix movie. So got that from variety.com. Fun fact.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Netflix is gobbling up, I mean, no surprise, but like so many of these books, I feel like almost every book that I turn to or that we've talked about either in our text chat or on the podcast is like, oh, and Netflix has got them. Netflix is producing.
Is that where The Housemaid is going?
It is,
Too?
and I'm pretty
is
sure it
it?
releases like on Christmas Day.
Yep.
Hot dang.
I know what I
They
know.
also took,
I know. I'm like, oh,
I know. So it's that one. They took Remarkably Bright Creatures too.
yes,
I think.
Remarkably Bright.
And they
People
have the
were-
Thursday.
I'm really excited about
People
that
Meet
one.
on Vacation, the Thursday Murder Club. Like they're
Yep.
just like all of these are the Mega House Netflix.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be watching a lot of Netflix, it turns out. So that's good.
No, I love that you brought this book, Megan, because I was going to say you're not the only one that I've heard a very like similar thought or review from as far as like the second book is concerned, because there was a lot of hype with the first one. I had heard so much about it.
Yes.
And then everybody was kind of, the second one was like, womp womp.
Yes, and I even like pre-ordered because it just came out in May, and I like pre-ordered it because I was like, I want to read this. The first one was so good, and then I was like, really, like your big plot twist is this girl from Texas with a terrible accent. Like, what is happening? So I don't know. It just felt a little bit flatter for me, but not as bad as this next book I'm going to tell you about.
That's a
man, like.
So don't come at me.
Megan's a harsh critic. She's our harsh critic of the crew.
I so appreciated it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to be, but like some of these books, I'm just like, what is happening? So,
and I don't say that to like bash on you.
Oh no, I'm not taking it personally.
Okay, good, because like I do not mean offense at all. I love that you critique. As much as you do. I seriously do. Okay, carry on.
I'm like, yes, yeah. I definitely don't intend to be, but then as I'm reading these books, I'm just like, what are we doing? What are we doing? So this next one, so I actually read this a while ago and I've just never talked about it. So this is called Without Merit by Colleen Hoover, who like big name, you would think big book. So this is yet another disappointment by her. So here's the recap. The Voss family is anything but normal. They live in a repurposed church, newly baptized Dollar Voss because he bought it for $1. And a once cancer-stricken mother lives in the basement of this house, church. The father is married to the mother's former nurse, so keep up with that storyline. A half
Lost.
brother is thrown in, and he can't do anything fun or have anything like fun to eat. I don't know why. And then the eldest siblings are irritatingly perfect. And then there's Merritt. Merritt Voss collects trophies she hasn't earned and secrets her family forces her to keep. While browsing the local antique shop for her next trophy, which like literally she collects like bowling trophies and like football like physical trophies, not like creepy serial killer trophies.
Like
Another good disclaimer.
participation ones too?
Say that again.
What about participation trophies?
I think so. I mean anything that's like she likes big ones, little ones, whatever. She just collects trophies. And she's at a shop looking for her next trophy, and when she meets Sagan, which I am saying his name is Sagan, could be Sagan, could be
Sagan.
Hope not.
I hope not either, but Sagan. His wit and unapologetic idealism, sorry, disarm and spark renewed life into her until she discovers that he's completely unavailable because he's dating her twin sister. So another weird thread going on in this already strange book. Merritt retreats deeper into herself, watching her family from the sidelines when she learns a secret that no trophy in the world can fix. Fed up with the lies, Merritt decides to shatter the happy family illusion that she's never been part of before, leaving them behind for good. When her escape plans fall through, Merritt is forced to deal with the staggering consequences of telling the truth and losing the one boy she loves. So,
sounds like a Colleen Hoover book.
Yeah, but
I'll
listen.
tell you what.
I think you lost me in sentence 2. I was trying to follow just the family tree.
Yes, and that was a little bit of my qualm, but like this. Okay, so I'll just say this. And I don't know if Brie, if I've ever talked to you about this book. I think I read it like while I was on maternity leave, aka just laying in my bed at home. But I don't know if it was just because of like the mental space that I was in or what, but I don't know. So this was not a recent read, and I'm so sorry to Colleen Hoover and anyone who might actually like this book, but this was garbage. This was absolute trash can material. There is so much wrong with how this whole story plays out. I think, like, from what I've read, this was supposed to be like a YA coming of age. There is so much, like, I don't even know how to say, like, there is borderline, like, weird incestual feelings between siblings. There is, like, weird, like, obviously Merritt, like, trying to hook up with her sister's boyfriend. Then there's, like, this distanced brother that comes live with them, and he's into like weird, I don't even know. So this is not a coming of age book at all. I would never let my children read this book. I think that there is nothing more crazy than the characters. They have like flings all between each other. Even like the mom that lives in the basement because she has cancer, like, is still living with the dad that divorced her and married her wife, her nurse. Oh, that would have been an even crazier plot twist. Just add another layer. So it's just like there's no separation. Everything is just dogpiling on top of each other. And I mean, like, just like the shit that goes down between everything it doesn't make sense to me. Like, this was a very just not great book. So I end this by saying I was not impressed. I finished this book and I almost wish I would have never started it.
My goodness.
That is that book. So, dear reader, listener, I wouldn't bother. Just because it says her name on it doesn't mean it's a good read.
I will go ahead and ride the bandwagon with you just to say I'm not personally the biggest Colleen Hoover fan either. So Verity was my first book that I read of her. No. Backing up. I'm so sorry. I read It Ends With Us, of course, and this was before the movie came out, and I did love It Ends With Us. And then there was all the hype around Verity, which is still getting its hype. We're talking about book to film or series, movies, adaptations. It's being picked up. Anne Hathaway, I think, is going to be in it. I hated that book. It was...
Oh, whoa.
It was It was
Yeah.
absolutely awful. I didn't like it. I just
Okay.
didn't.
No.
And I'm not saying I won't pick up another Colleen Hoover book, but she's not my taste. And
Okay.
that's okay.
That's
funny,
surprising because I feel like almost everyone has enjoyed Verity, so then other books were like a total letdown.
I'm in that
Interesting.
camp. I'm in that camp. I fall in that camp.
Listen, that
Really liked Verity, and then I feel like I've given others like their fair shot. So I've read I read It Ends With Us, and I read It Starts With Us.
Okay.
I read Ugly Love.
Yeah, that was another popular one.
And Megan and I read Layla together.
Mhm.
And I don't think I've
Straight
picked
to
up
the-
a Colleen. Yeah, I have not picked up a Colleen. Like, that is a book that I literally have flipped around on my bookshelf because I don't want people to, like, know that I own it, even though I've full on talked about it on a podcast, so that's neither here nor there. But I just have it turned around because I'm like, you never happened.
Yeah.
Yikes.
This is so funny. I have yet to read a Colleen Hoover book, which I know is like, you know, crazy with the amount of hype that are in her books. But I've heard these comments for like, you're either really, you love it or like straight in the garbage. Like
Yeah.
I get more questions about, have you tried Verity? Or, you know, it's interesting. I think though, Megan, go ahead, Jordan.
No. Finish your thought. I'm sorry.
No, I was going on another tangent, but I'm like, add to TBR, don't add to TBR. Add to TBR, don't add to TBR.
So for mine, don't add.
Don't add. Removed. That was my.
If you have it on there, take it back off.
Take it off.
She writes really gripping books, really gripping. Not like I'm not denying Verity kept me up. Okay, was it a book that like I was awake at 2 or 3 a.m. because I couldn't sleep and I literally had to read it straight through? Also because I was terrified out of my mind because it is I understand the appeal. I do, because it's gripping, it's thrilling. She knows how to write a page turner. There have been articles, I'm sure, and I don't have the evidence to back this up, but I'm almost certain there's articles that talk about her specific formula. She knows what she does that works. And I say, if it works for you, it works for you. Great. I'm not
your cup of tea.
Yeah.
No.
I feel like to your point, I feel like she has a formula, and when it works really well. I think in general, like, she is writing to like shock you. Like this book was shocking in like the what the fuck is happening kind of way. Not in necessarily the page turner kind of way. So I think it's, to your point, Jordan, like when it works, and those are the ones that are like everyone's reading it. This is like all you're going to hear about. This is what's going to get adapted. This is, book to film, etc. Yeah. And then there's some that, because she's written so many books at this point. Like, how many books have we not heard of? Because it's just like,
there's a lot.
Yeah. I do think though, Megan, for this podcast, we need like Staples has the easy button. I think we need the straight to the trash button with its own sound effects that we can like, like
God,
I don't know.
I want that. Yes.
It just be like a foghorn, like a
straight to the trash. So
I love it.
We adapt the Staples easy button for these next books that come up, and we just go, oh, you're voted off the island. Yeah. You're done. Straight to trash.
Are we dating ourselves with that for a second? You're talking about this, and I'm like, how long, like, are those still around?
Oh my! Well, I immediately thought of like, do you remember when you used to like on an older computer, you would delete a file and make this like sound?
Yeah. Yes. And you would feel so accomplished when you deleted the trash or when you like completely emptied. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Or do you remember? Then we'll go back to the books, but the little paperclip helper in Word that would like come in and like form a paperclip and like, hey, how can I help you? Right. That was it
was very sweet. It was very sweet.
Yeah, he's up there with the Staples easy button. So, listener, if you know what we're talking about, leave us a comment because you're in the same age group as us.
Now you know how old we are.
Now you know.
And if you don't, kids, Google it, and there you go.
It. Yeah.
According to our podcast data, we definitely hit our age range for the most part. So,
Perfect. Nailed it.
yep, we did it.
It's
They'll
because
know.
we're not on TikTok. We're not appealing to the younger group.
We're not. And they know that because they're like, gosh, they're only on Instagram. They are millennials.
Yes.
Ugh.
I did have avocado toast for breakfast.
Oh,
You're welcome. Yeah.
Because it's delicious. That's why you had it, obviously.
I joke whenever avocado toast, right? The millennials, and their obsession with it, and it's
Yes.
rightfully served.
Absolutely.
Random note, but on that note, I had like the most beautiful avocado toast in Canada a few months ago that I had to take a picture of it because it was just so pretty, and I was like, I want to be able to recreate this someday.
You should
It was
totally
like,
send it to us.
oh my gosh, I will. I'll send it. I'll go find it later. My
Please send
bread
it.
was like shaped like a flower, and
Ooh.
it was just so pretty. I'll send you guys a picture.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
Best avocado toast. Okay, last trip. My sister-in-law gave me this tip. When you make avocado toast at home, put ricotta cheese on your bread underneath the avocado. So good. With a little lemon zest, totally
Ooh.
changes the entire dynamic
down.
of the avocado toast.
I'd be down for
Good to
that.
know.
That's a good one. I like feta with it too.
That is good.
Feta.
I've done
That would be a solid choice.
cream cheese is another good one, just like a very thin layer underneath. Mm-hmm.
Also
Are
good.
you
like
guys
it.
cottage cheese people? Are we getting into that trend? Okay, good.
Yes.
Nope.
I'm
Nope.
sorry. Guilty as charged. Like,
Freeze like
Nope. 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 Oh my gosh. Okay.
I'm on that
Well,
bandwagon. Sorry. Wah wah. What's the foghorn button when I need it? Right, the train.
Gosh.
I love it. Oh my gosh. Okay. So, my gosh, my books that I have for you guys today. Well, let me start by saying the books I chose to bring to the recap for this month are the two books I actually listened to on audio on our road trip from Arizona to Colorado. We are officially in Colorado now, which is super, super exciting. Yeah, it's around like a 13-hour drive, like just under, it's around 12, 13. So we stopped halfway in Albuquerque, spent a night, and then finished the drive from New Mexico. So basically I had like a book a day, just about, which was absolutely perfect. And I will start off with recap for you Very Bad Company by Emma Rosenblum. So here's the recap. Every year, executives at the trendy tech startup Aurora gather the company's top employees for an exclusive retreat in Miami. And this year, Caitlin Levy, Aurora's newest hire, is joining the team as head of events. The benefits are outstanding: a 7-figure salary, stock shares, a discretionary bonus, limitless vacation days. What could possibly go wrong? When another high-level executive vanishes after the very first night, this disappearance has the potential to derail the future of the company's sale and cost everyone on the team millions of dollars. Now more than ever, Caitlin and her colleagues must continue the charade, partaking in team building exercises, group brainstorming events, exercises, dinners, in order to keep the future of Aurora afloat amid all the fatal speculations. Compulsively readable, Very Bad Company is a slick send-up of corporate culture wrapped in a captivating mystery.
The biggest mystery being, how is she head of events and has a 7-figure salary?
I would also like to.
Listen, because I will apply for that job.
I would say I would have.
This is not realistic. What is happening?
Reading that, I have issues.
Biggest mystery.
Okay.
Okay, sorry. I cannot. I was like, well, I couldn't focus after that.
No,
Like,
you
where
are
is
not.
this job online?
Listen, you're not wrong. There's a lot in this one. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. You probably got to suspend belief, suspend reality a little bit. I enjoyed the writing. I gave this 4 out of 5. It loses a star for me with the ending, and I'll kind of get into a little bit of why. It was a really fun one to listen to. If you're looking for like a book that's just kind of easy to have on in the background, not a bad choice at all. But if you want an ending that's wrapped with like a neat little bow and it's got like this really tight, solid ending, look elsewhere, because this does not have that. It also is obviously all about people behaving badly, rich people behaving badly. So if you're like not in the camp that enjoys those kinds of stories, you might also want to look elsewhere. And I love that kind of stuff. I love to hate that kind of stuff. Like when it's all morally gray, right? Like you're not really rooting for any of the characters. Just when you start to think that you are, then someone will do something, someone will say something, and you're like, yep, nope, that gave me the ick. Not doing that. So all the characters in this book were pretty horrible, to be completely honest. But the writer is really talented. And I liked Emma Rosenblum a lot and will absolutely be reading more of her. She has, I want to say, I know Bad Summer People is another book of hers that is definitely on my TBR to read. And then she's got another one that's coming out, I want to say next month, if I'm not mistaken, called Mean Moms. And I will definitely be checking both of those out. So that was Very Bad Company by Emma Rosenblum. So it's a fun one.
Sounds interesting to listen to. People just, being bad behavior.
Pretty much.
I mean, I'm definitely intrigued by the fact that I like the title a lot, just like given what you said.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sort of intrigued by that. Sorry to like totally derail you. Right?
No.
I'm like,
No. Listen, I had questions too. And if you decide to pick up this book, that's not going to be the only question you have. So trust me. And that's what I'm talking about. Because like with the ending, I was like, okay. I mean, yes, I guess that's what happens. And I suppose XYZ makes sense. But
I gotta be honest, those kind of books where I don't get at least some semblance of like a neat little bow or like some semblance of completion at the end, unless I know it's a series, unless I know like there's gonna be like a, follow up, just like get under my skin. Maybe it's just a me thing, but I'm just like, I wanted closure, or I want to immediately jump into the next book and like, keep going with what it is.
Well, in the way that certain things happened by the end, because like there were things that were wrapped up, but it was not realistic. Or if it was realistic, there's a part of you that's like, why did it take so long to get there? If that makes sense.
I got it. The head of events is now making an 8-figure salary.
Right.
She got a raise in the book.
That makes her. Bree
is like daggers through the screen.
She's like, absolutely not.
I take issue with that.
Objection, Your Honor.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So that was my first recap to bring for this month. The second one I'm super excited to talk to you ladies about. So this is called The Champagne Letters by Kate McIntosh. Here's the setup. Reims, France, 1805. Barbe Nicole Clicquot has just lost her beloved husband, but is determined to pursue their dream of creating the premier champagne house in France, now named for her new identity as a widow, Veuve Clicquot. With the Russians poised to invade, competitors fighting for her customers, and the Napoleonic court politics complicating matters, she must set herself apart quickly and permanently if she and her business are to survive. In present-day Chicago, broken from her divorce, Natalie Taylor runs away to Paris. In a bookstall by the Seine, Natalie finds a collection of the widow Clicquot's published letters and uses them as inspiration to step out of her comfort zone and create a new empowered life for herself. But when her Parisian escape takes a shocking and unexpected turn, she's forced to make a choice. Should she accept her losses and return home, or fight for the future she's only dreamed about? What would the widow do?
This sounds so good. I'm just
Girl,
gonna.
I was thinking about you the whole time I was reading it. And this was what I was talking about, where I was like, shoot, listener off pod, I was telling Emily and Bree and Megan, I was like, I meant to text you guys. Life's been lifing. And obviously it's pure chaos as you're in the throes of moving. And I don't know where half of my belongings are, more than half of my belongings are right now, but it's fine. And I was like, Emily would eat this story up.
You
She would
probably
love
saw
it
me like
so
as you
much.
were reading it on my phone, like, and on the TBR right now.
Because
It
listen,
sounds. Yeah.
Barb Nicole Clicquot, I had no idea the historical aspect of this, the things that she
So cool.
went through in the battle, Moet. So, listeners, if any of you are familiar, obviously, with Champagne specifically, the two big names, right? Like those are the two big names, Veuve Clicquot and Moet. And to learn more of just the history from the 1800s and all of the things that she did and what she went through and what she did to fight to make Veuve Clicquot what it is today, I was just in love with. And I actually have to say, I probably enjoyed that part of it. I mean, I enjoyed Natalie's story, present day, quite a bit too. And oh my gosh, there's so many twists and turns in this one actually as well that I like that kept me going. I was like, "What? Oh, okay, now I had no idea. I didn't see that coming. That's unexpected." So, 4.5 out of 5 stars for me. Obviously, listeners, if you guys have followed, you know, like big historical fiction fan over here, and I just loved it. These are definitely two female main characters that you will absolutely relate to with struggles, you'll fall in love with, and it's a really good I it was a solid like feel good historical fiction book to read for the summer in my opinion. So, I was very very happy with that one.
I love it, and you might have just picked my next book. You have you read The Winemaker's Wife?
No, but I added that one to my TBR when you
That's
told me about it because I
yeah.
think we were texting about that one and I was like, TBR.
So that one's very similar. If you've like, I guess, I mean, I
Okay.
haven't read the Champagne Letters, but kind of a similar vibe. But it's by Kristen Harmel. Harmel,
Yes,
I'm saying
yes,
that right.
yes.
Yep.
Mhm.
Also a good like historical fiction, feel good history of like Champagne and in France during World War II and like what they went to keep, you know, the vineyards and the wineries and everything operating during the war. Fascinating, great story. But this
Mhm.
is definitely, I think, one of my next reads.
You'll love it. I think you'll really like it. Was a good one. I was debating whether or not I was going to listen to it. It probably would have also been a good one to read with my eyeballs, to be honest, rather than listen to, but yeah, I wasn't about to do that when I had to keep my eyes on the road. So,
Does Macintosh, because her name sounds so familiar. What other books does she have? Have you guys read any others?
this was my first. Let me
Okay.
look though, because
For some
her
reason, her name is
sounds
really standing out to me, but I can't think of why.
it sounded familiar to me too when I read it. Let me see. Because I knew Kristen Harmel too, Emily, because yeah. Oh, do not tell me that that is.
I think this is her only book. I'm just looking at
No
it right now.
way.
Wow.
Yeah, it is. That's all I can see
Solid
too.
start for her.
Yeah.
Yes. I definitely will read more by her for sure because it was and it was definitely one of those two. I mean, we've talked a lot about Kristen Hanna, for example, on this podcast as well. Like you could certainly tell she had done a ton of research about Barb Nicole Clicquot. I would not be surprised if she lives in France. She's traveled to France. Like she has done, I mean, oh my gosh.
I love those type of books.
Yes.
Where you're like, you clearly have like done your research.
Yes. You're not just an American or whatever writing from Montana about Paris. Like you've been, you know what's
Been
going
there.
on.
Yeah.
100%. Oh my gosh.
Now, don't get me wrong. I would love to be an American writer living in Montana, but I also respect the research.
I would take either. American writer living in Montana, American writer in Paris. Like, I would take either.
Yes.
I'm not picky.
I might choose Paris over Montana. Maybe. I don't know. We'll
I
see.
think both have their pluses.
It's true.
Very true. Very true.
Montana would be a lot closer to family. I'll stick with Colorado.
There you go. It's like, I just moved.
Yeah, right.
Not doing that again. My husband would be so mad. He's like, absolutely not. We're not doing this. Oh my gosh. Okay, Emily. I'm like I'm like excited to get into yours and also at the same time really sad I haven't read this yet.
Yes, because your first one is like high up on my TBR.
Oh, well, move it up to the top. And I'll just say that like all the way, number one.
Okay.
I'll say that, so May for me was like a bonanza reading month. I don't know any other way to say it. I think it's because I have a baby that wouldn't be put down. So like, as I'm going through this, just, you can picture that I've got him in the carrier and I'm literally pacing the house, either listening to an audiobook or like reading as I do the mom, like back and forth. So I ended up reading 10 books last month,
God.
which that is the only appropriate answer is like, holy cow, why, what's wrong with you? But it was great. So of those, I do have 2 honorable mentions that I will not be going into today, but just should be high on everyone's list, in my opinion. One is Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir.
Also so if high up on my TBR.
I'm gonna plant the flag on this hill. I think it's better than The Martian. I said it. Like yep. Brie, I see.
Wow.
Like
that
I
is
think it's better than The Martian.
See? My goodness. And you listened to this on audio.
I listened and I had it in hard copy, so I went like back and forth, depending on what the baby was doing.
Fair enough.
That loved it. Like I said, I think it's better than The Martian. Definitely move it up to TBR. The other one is Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. Just all the heartstrings. I think all of you have read it too. Like, I'm thrilled it's being made into a Netflix movie or show or whatever they're doing with it. Fabulous. I didn't know an octopus needed to have a perspective. They do.
Yes,
I'm here for it. So, honorable mentions. But the one I really want to dive into, one of the 2, is The Frozen River by Ariel Lawhon. Sorry if I butchered that. I hope that's right. If not, my sincerest apologies. So let me set it up. This is from Goodreads. I did not write this, and then I'll go into my review. So, a gripping historical mystery inspired by the life and diary of Martha Ballard, a renowned 18th century midwife who defied the legal system and wrote herself into American history. Maine, 1789. When the Kennebec River freezes, entombing a man in the ice, Martha Ballard is summoned to examine the body and determine cause of death. As a midwife and healer, she is privy to much of what goes on behind closed doors in Hollowell. Her diary is a record of every birth and death, crime, and debacle that unfolds in the close-knit community. Months earlier, Martha documented the details of an alleged rape committed by 2 of the town's most respected gentlemen, one of whom has now been found dead in the ice. But when a local physician undermines her conclusion, declaring the death to be an accident, Martha is forced to investigate the shocking murder on her own. Over the course of one winter, as the trial nears and whispers and prejudices mount, Martha pursues the truth. Her diary soon lands at the center of the scandal, implicating those she loves and compelling Martha to decide where her own loyalties lie. It was fabulous. I'll just say, like, I'm going to end it there because I don't want to give away too much in our spoiler-free episode. 5 stars. Like, it blew my mind. It was the first one that I'd read by this author, and I had no knowledge of like Martha Ballard or this event or the actual historical like point that she's talking about. But I'm obsessed. It was funny. I already lent the book out to a friend of mine who just texted me this morning, like, I'm obsessed with this book. Thank you so much.
Oh my God.
It's fantastic. So I couldn't put it down. I mean, I love historical fiction anyway. So Jordan, I think it kind of sounds like a little bit like those feel-good historical fiction ones that you just like dive into the story.
Yes.
It was all consuming. She, now that I know a little bit more about her, completely iconic. Like I definitely like researched her after reading this book, because it was just such a crazy story. Um, so she also is an older narrator, which I think was kind of nice. Like typically I think come across a lot of books that have, a narrator that's in the like, I don't know, 16 to 25, like age range in a lot of books, right, these days. And she's got like, I think 7 grown children. I mean, was the time too, but so it's like later in her life that this comes up. Um, and I just say, I wish I could like wipe my mind and read it again. It goes through like her diary entries are like always start with the weather and then go into what happened. So they can kind of be like, they're almost eerie in a good way, like the weather and then like physician's notes on like these awful things or great things that sometimes happen. And then it goes into the story for that chapter.
Ooh.
So I would highly, highly recommend move it up the TBR. I want to read more by this author. I haven't read many of her books. This was the first one. And she's got one called I Am Anastasia that is like moving up my... yeah, exactly. That is moving up. That follows the story of, I think it was Anna Anderson, right? That claimed to be Anastasia. And so she writes...
okay, yes.
She writes a novel about like, is she or isn't she like historical fiction?
That would be really good. For some reason, this is giving me like not totally the same storyline, but Brie, maybe I'm off base, but it's kind of reminding me of like The Lost Apothecary in a way. Like how it's like this like healer, like medically inclined woman in the town, like everyone knows who she is, what she's about, and then, low key, she also has this storied past and secrets and all of this. If you guys have read that, for some reason my brain is making that connection.
I've heard a lot about that one.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. It made me think of The Lost Apothecary, and then it made me think of The Mesmerist too. Which I don't know, just kind of was also set not in like the late 1700s, but in the 1800s, and was also or is also like loosely based off of real people and like real situations, but it's a fictional story. So, and kind of also has that like eerie sort of ominous vibe about it. Made me think a lot about that.
Yes.
Yeah. I will throw out just a disclaimer. I don't know if I call it trigger warning, but a disclaimer. She's a midwife, and so she describes like birth that she attends in great detail, and not all are happy endings. So just content warning for those. And of course, she's solving a murder mystery, so there's murder involved as well. But there were some parts, and maybe because I'm was reading this while I'm on mat leave, that were just a little hard to read.
I was gonna say,
I had to like keep moving through it.
Would that be was it a little disturbing, I guess, especially if it was a not great birth outcome?
It was, I don't want to give it away. It was understandable in the context of the story.
Okay.
But it was just because of when I read it, I just kind of like flipped a few pages faster and just like kept moving with the main story. Because not all, like, it's more of her job necessarily than like part of the main storyline, but just so there is a little
like
bit of,
as emotionally compelling, but it certainly can be if you're in the right mindset.
Or the wrong, whatever you want to say. But yes.
Right or wrong.
Yes. Yes.
Whatever perfect
100%.
storm happens to be going on.
Yes. But highly recommend. My second book that I wanted to talk about, I think all of you have read it just by the reaction we had earlier in this episode. The Housemaid.
I
haven't read it, but I have it, so don't spoil it.
I've read all 3, baby.
Okay, so Megan, Jordan, you haven't read it?
No. Nope.
But I own it.
Okay, you're
I have it on
there.
my Kindle.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so there it is. There it is. Wow. That's all I had. Like, this was my...
Emily said, there's my recap and review.
Yes.
Wow. So let me read the recap. This is, again, Goodreads, not my words, and spoiler free. But The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. Welcome to the family, Nina Winchester says as I shake her elegant, manicured hand. I smile politely, gazing around the marble hallway. Working here is my last chance to start fresh. I can pretend to be whoever I like. But I'll soon learn that the Winchester's secrets are far more dangerous than my own. Every day, I clean the Winchester's beautiful house top to bottom. I collect their daughter from school, and I cook a delicious meal for the whole family before heading out to eat alone in my tiny room on the top floor. I try to ignore how Nina makes a mess just to watch me clean it up, how she tells strange lies about her own daughter, and how her husband Andrew seems more broken every day. But as I look into Andrew's handsome brown eyes, so full of pain, it's hard not to imagine what it would be like to live Nina's life. The walk-in closet, the fancy car, the perfect husband. I only try on one of Nina's pristine white dresses once, just to see what it's like. But she soon finds out, and by the time I realize my attic bedroom door only locks from the outside, it's far too late. But I reassure myself. The Winchesters don't know who I really am. They don't know what I'm capable of.
Oh, that just gave me like chills. Like, dun dun dun. We need like a whole,
Okay, so
like,
there's 3 books in this right now? Okay.
correct.
I didn't know any of it. 3, 2, because then there's the
3.
next.
There's like the housemaid's secret, and then I
Yep.
forget what the third one's called, but
The
it came out.
wedding, the housemaid's wedding.
Is
Or
it?
is
Then there's
that
the
it?
Tenant, which just came out, which is not related to the Housemaid series,
Oh, okay.
right?
The housemaid. Okay, so the housemaid's secret, the housemaid is watching are the 3.
There you go.
Oh, then what did I just see with the housemaid's wedding? What is that?
Maybe there's a 4th one.
Maybe.
Is that what? Oh, no, or yeah, or maybe is that the next one coming out?
I don't know.
So this one, like I also had on my bookshelf, staring at me with that little eye through the keyhole, like every time I walk past the blue book on my shelf. And I finally picked it up because, again, I read 10 books because I was bouncing a baby all month. I finished it in 3 days. Like, could not put it down. Like, this completely took over my life, basically, to find out what happened next. It really reminded me of The Silent Patient. So if you like The Silent Patient, you will love and be equally obsessed with The Housemaid.
I love The Silent Patient.
I also love The Last Mrs. Parrish.
There you go. You got a whole, yep. It was like, I thought I had it figured out. I don't know, Megan, if you felt the same way when you, like, I was ready with like pitchfork to go like defend. I'm not going to say character names because I really don't want to give this away, but like I was ready for the first 2 parts of the book to like go forth in one direction, and then it like completely
100%
like flipped.
And I love a good book montage, if you will, that goes through step by step of like, this is what's happening and this is why it happened and this is how it happened and this is like the slow progression and rollout of everything that you thought you knew, and then to walk it back too. And I was just like, oh my god, it made sense after that.
No, when they did, and that's a good way to put it, like the book montage of like going back what you just read and retelling it the truth full way, when you were like, at least I was ready to like defend to the death, right? Like the other direction.
Yes.
I like queen of the whiplash twist. That was the best way I can like put it out there.
Have you read other Frida McFadden books?
No, that was this is my first Frida McFadden, and I'm like ready for the second one. The cliffhanger that it left with on the end about like where the housemaid, where Millie goes, has like Dexter vibes to it. So if you're like a fan of, right, if you're a fan of Dexter, if you're a fan of The Silent Patient, like read it. I have no other words.
Are book 2 and book 3 like it's all like chronological, like it picks up at the end of book 1?
I would say yes and no. So Frida McFadden does a really good job of doing like a smaller-ish recap of like, I'm Millie. So obviously the main character's name is Millie. And it's like, I went through this and this is where I'm at now in each book. But it's not like, if you want to know the full story, then I would recommend reading them in order. I think it makes more sense that way. But I wouldn't say you don't necessarily have to, but I would say it makes more sense.
If you read that little, I haven't read the second one. If you read that little recap in the second one, are you going to give away like the whole book 1, basically?
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut. I was more like curious because he said like it ends like on a cliffhanger. So I was like, so does book 2 pick up and like give you answers?
Yes Yes.
And no.
Yes and no. Because then there's, I don't know. I feel like so to answer your question, Emily, I don't feel like the little recaps give anything away. It's more just like, I have to live this way or do things this way because of what happened last time. That kind of
I got
thing.
I got it. Okay.
But I guess that's probably the best way to say it. But I don't necessarily think it ties everything up in like book 2, for example. So I feel like you do have to kind of go on to book 3. But I will say, I think, again, in any series, the first book's always the best book. So definitely start there.
Start with that one.
Yes.
Phenomenal.
The casting for this is like top tier.
Oh, I haven't even looked that up. Well, what's the casting? Now I'm
Sydney Sweeney is Millie.
Yes, I love her.
I'm gonna butcher his last name. Brandon Sklenar is Andrew.
Oh, yes. I'm looking at
I'm
this too
obsessed
now.
with him. I should know how to say his last name because like I'm obsessed with him. Sorry. That was a bit aggressive, but like
sorry.
And Amanda Seyfried is Nina.
Ooh, that's a good
Perfect.
one.
That's gonna be a really good one.
Casting is chef's kiss. So good.
Yep. This
Love.
have to read. Master. Like I said, wow. End of
And
review.
you said this is coming out. This is coming out around Christmas.
I think it comes out
think
either
so.
on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, I want to say.
Yeah, it's
so it's going to be a film.
It's
not
a
a
film.
series.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm almost
December
positive.
25th.
Now you all are making me second guess everything I know. But
no, you're right.
Well,
you're right.
IMDb, for all that they are accurate, says December 25th, 2025.
Look at that.
Look at that.
I can't tell you what I did yesterday, but I can remember that.
Brie, I feel like, especially because you love The Silent Patient, I know we talked about that a few times so much, this is like, have to be high on your list.
I feel like, yeah. And I think, Brie, you'll have, like, just as you have with The Silent Patient, you will, have, like, out loud, like, oh my God, moments. And then you're going to, like, turn around and tell everybody to read this book.
100%. Like I said, I told you the visual at the beginning of, like, baby and carrier, me doing the bounce as I'm reading this book. And then I go, ah! That's like, it's just me and my dog in the room. 100% what happened.
I love those. No, I know I have to. You guys, I've had it for way too long. Like, I know I need to read it.
She's
and
watching
I'm
it
100% committed to reading it before December 25th.
Yes. At least, yeah, that's a good goal. At least do it before then.
I think I can be with you on that goal, Brie. I can be with you on that goal.
Jordan and Brie, I promise, it will captivate you so much that if you start it on December 23rd, you will still finish before the 25th and the movie's out.
Yeah, it's not like it's a big book either.
No.
Like, you'll knock that thing out right away. So.
I think all the books in the series are relatively...
Yeah, they're small.
Yeah.
Smaller.
300-400 pages, something like that.
Doable.
So, anyway.
Awesome books and reviews.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, Brie, your turn.
Let's go, girl.
Okay, I'll wrap it up. So one of the books that I read was A Curse Carved in Bone, which is book 2 of the Saga of the Unfated by Danielle Jensen. But I'm going to recap the first one because otherwise I will spoil the ever-loving everything out of book 2. So, but then I will give you like my total review of book 2 / this duology. Okay? Has anyone read this? I don't think anybody's read these, right?
No.
Okay, so I am recapping A Fate Inked in Blood, which is book 1. Freya spends her days gutting fish while married to this awful older man, a marriage that she was forced into, and she only dreams of a different life as a warrior like her brother. Everything changes the day her horrible husband betrays her to the region's Jarl, and she must fight to the death against his son Bjorn. Bjorn is blessed by the god Tyr, and in order to survive, Freya has to reveal that she also possesses a drop of a goddess's blood, with magic capable of shielding any type of attack. Freya's fate has been foretold, and she's immediately taken by the Jarl to be his second wife. And not like his first wife died or anything, like now he has 2 wives. With his sights set on becoming... Yep, it's great, really just set for success. and his sights are only set on becoming king. Bjorn, his son, has been instructed to protect Freya at all costs, essentially. There's no denying that they are attracted to one another, but for one, it's certainly frowned upon to hook up with your husband's son, and for two, in a world where raids are common and everyone is after the Shield Maiden, Freya's priorities definitely lie in staying alive, protecting her people, and learning more about her magic, which definitely seems more powerful than she and everyone else expects. Okay.
Question. Sorry.
Yes.
What's a jarl?
So
Is that like a
it's a
known thing?
Viking. No,
Okay.
it's not like so it's like a Viking term. So
Okay.
this is
It's okay, Megan. That would have been my question
That
too.
would have been my question.
sorry. I just expect everyone to know that because I watch a lot of Viking stuff and not fantasy Viking stuff. That was like the term for the leader in
Okay.
the like Viking history. So if you were the jarl, you generally like controlled the region.
Okay.
So
So like a duke to a king.
Kinda, yeah. You're not king level, but you do like you manage and then
Command
you have
troops.
yeah, you have like your own army per se and like your farm like all the lands around you.
Okay.
So the jarl was like the leader of those groups.
Okay. Thank
In
you for clarifying.
yeah, in we're talking like Sweden and like Norway, Finland, all of that way back
Okay.
when.
Perfect.
Okay. So let me start by saying that I loved book 1. I thought it was great. You guys know this. I love Vikings. I love Norse mythology. And like in book 1, just all of that and like the spin on the magic with like the Norse mythology is really cool and fun. The forbidden love is also really good. So that sets that up. Book 2 is what I read though. It just came out in May. So I don't want to say I was disappointed, but I was like underwhelmed. Might be the way to say that. I will add that it definitely went in very surprising directions, which I appreciate because I like could not have predicted any of that and that it was going to head down that path and that those characters were going to do what they did. So I appreciate that. But something about the pacing and also the magic and everything was just like kind of off for me and not as exciting at times, whereas book 1 I like couldn't put it down. Overall, I definitely, if you like fantasy, like I would definitely recommend the complete duology for sure. Like as a package, it was an enjoyable experience. I would also say now that book 2 is out, like highly recommend just reading them rather close together if you're going to, because if you don't, you will forget everything in book 1 and you will not know what's going on in book 2. So
Steve, that's always so hard.
yeah, it's always hard, but like sometimes I think it's easier than others. But for this, like if you're I don't know, there's a lot of characters, like there's just a lot going on. I would highly recommend that you just jump right in to book 2 if at all possible, or at least don't wait like years like I did, because I'm very glad I did a bit of a reread beforehand, because even when I was doing the reread, I was like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot any of that happened. So there we go.
Fair enough. Okay.
I like it.
Very
I
nice.
feel like that's a theme of this episode is like book 1,
Yes.
5 stars. Book 2, lots of notes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
You
just about to
know?
say the same thing, Emily. Like, what is it about the underwhelming aspect of like the follow-up stories? I don't know.
I think it's hard when the expectations, when you've set the bar already for yourself so high, right? And
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what it
Honestly
is about that.
I love Danielle Jensen. Like I think she's super talented. So I love it. Like the duology altogether. Book 1 just had a leg up on book 2. So.
Nothing wrong with that.
No.
Okay. Maybe this will kind of change things though. So my second book is One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune. Has anybody read it?
No,
It's
but it is
coming up for
on
me
my
next.
list. Yeah.
Yep.
Move her up. Okay. But hold on. So has everyone read Every Summer After, though?
Yes.
You have to read that first. Like, do not
Okay.
read One Golden Summer without having read Every Summer
Was
After.
that not the book that you guys had covered
No, that was
initially?
The Summer Will Be Different.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Okay. I was like,
Okay.
wait a second, which one?
You made me
Okay.
second guess myself. I was like, well, wait, maybe I did read that book.
They're all summer.
I was about to say, no
Okay.
confusion with the title.
Right.
Well, like, technically you don't have to. However, you should.
Okay.
1,000%. And maybe I'll elaborate on that here in just a second. Okay.
Yes.
So, if you've read Every Summer After, then you're headed back to Barry's Bay with One Golden Summer. Quote, good things happen at the lake, end quote. That's something Alice's grandmother has always said. She spent one summer at a cottage there with her grandmother, Nan, when she was 17. It's where her career today as a photographer truly began, with that one photo she took of 3 teenagers on a speedboat. So when Nan falls and breaks her hip, Alice thinks a trip to Barry's Bay for recovery is just what Nan needs, what they both need. Charlie Florek was 19 that summer Alice took his photo. He doesn't know that. Today, he's a complete flirt. He helps Nan and makes her laugh, and he definitely shows Alice a simple, serene life at the lake. But they are very different, and while Charlie knows how to make everyone laugh, there are moments that it seems like he's definitely hiding something. And Alice, of course, only came to the lake for the summer, not for anything more. Okay, so here's what I literally wrote down. Charlie freaking Florek. How wrong I was about you. So not a spoiler, but Charlie you actually get introduced to in Every Summer After, and like so that is partly like why I will say you should read it. But
Yes.
I absolutely love the return to Barry's Bay with familiar people and places. There's just like this element of nostalgia with it because I loved that book. I think that was Carly Fortune's like very first book,
It was.
I really, really liked it. And so when I saw that and she's written now 2 other books with totally different sets of characters, totally different settings. So I was like, oh my gosh, we're going back to Barry's Bay. Okay. I adored the story between Charlie, Alice, and Nan. There are tons of laughs. Definitely tune in for all of that, plus the romance, but stay a bit for the heavier pieces, like aspects of feeling lost, having regrets, grief, and aging. All the feels with this one, and perfect for summer reading.
Oh, I'm so excited.
You guys, I like loved it. My heart.
Well, I will definitely be texting you because I'll be reading it this month, so I'm super excited. Does the couple from Every Summer After make an appearance?
They do.
As well? Okay, good. Okay, good.
They make an appearance, which is nice because you kind of get to see them now like a little bit further in the future. So you have they make a couple of appearances. And yeah, and it was really fun to like tie in the fact that this is not giving like Alice never met any of them. I mean, now she's like in her 30s, Charlie's in his 30s too. So like this is years down the road, and like how much both of their lives have changed, but like she definitely enjoys spending time with him. Like, I mean, he makes her feel like she's 17, and she's a little bit like lost kind of in life and like where she's at with her career and what's next for her and like failed relationships. And so it's just this awesome couple of months like at a secluded lake in this small town, and he just like makes her laugh, takes care of her grandmother too, makes her grandmother laugh. It was so much fun. It was so much fun. I like it's been a long time since I read Every Summer After, so like this might just be because there have been years in between, but like did I like book 2, quotes, air quotes, better than book 1? Like maybe.
Really? Okay.
Maybe.
Is this
the one that bucked the trend?
Yes. Is this intended to be like a series?
Well, so here's not necessarily, but like
Okay.
I do know, I mean, I'll let Bree kind of speak up. At least for me, when I finished Every Summer After, I wanted Charlie's story. Like a lot of readers wanted Charlie's story.
Yeah, so what I've read, and I'm pulling this out of random crap that I've seen, like haven't done a deep dive. Carly Fortune, the author, one, like took note of that from readers wanting more about him, and then two, like I don't think, like, hold on, what does it say on the back of the book? It says, I never anticipated Charlie Florek. And I think Carly Fortune has talked about how, like, she felt that way too. She didn't exactly set out to write his story, and just it really evolved, like, after Every Summer After and people wanting it. And like I don't want to give anything away, but he certainly makes an impression in Every Summer After.
Yes.
And not maybe the best impression.
Okay.
Like, he's
Is he,
very
like, the bad
charming.
boy type?
Yeah, the
Kind
bad boy,
of.
and like, not bad boy is probably not the right. He's very charming, very flirtatious, and just kind of seems like the guy that like will hook up with you and then drop you,
Okay.
and sort like he's a womanizer for sure.
Okay.
But he's very funny at the same time. But there's some stuff that happens in Every Summer After where you sort of leave with a certain feeling about him. And yeah, and now, I mean, even like you're years past some of the things that happened then too. So you like get to see like not only how those events impacted those other characters, but like how they left him reeling years later too. And Jordan's probably the only person I know like that knows what I'm talking about, but it is so I highly recommend. And it's like perfect for summer reading. It is so good. And I just really want to visit Barry's
Let
Bay
me
now
put
that
it
I've read
this
about
way.
it.
I'll put it this way, and it's not spoiling anything. He's written to have redeeming qualities, right? And so, like, that's why he was worthy of a book. And Carly Fortune listened to the masses. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because you finish Every Summer After and you're like, okay, but what made Charlie this way? Who is he really? And you find yourself wanting more of him. And so that's, yeah.
He's so freaking funny too.
So good. Ugh.
I have to
Okay.
say, so this has been on my list. One Golden Summer was, but now I've added Every Summer After first. Because at the end of July, we go every year to a lake in northern Idaho that is like, since I was a baby, it's
Perfect
like
spot for
family
reading.
tradition. Yep. And it's this, small secluded town, lakefront. Everybody's there just to spend time in the water. And I was like, that's the perfect spot to read that book. But now I have homework ahead of that trip.
Yep.
So,
you have homework or you have to take both. They are both like very easy breezy reads. You will read them so fast.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So like no sweat off your back at all. You just have to do both.
Well, and I remember all of you enjoyed This Summer Will Be Different too.
That's
Didn't
why
you?
I'm thinking
Because-
like I will definitely read these.
Okay.
That's-
Okay, yeah.
I have to say, that's on my list. Like, I'm going to call it like reading bucket list or whatever, right? Is I do want to read all of Carly Fortune's book, be a completist. So Carly Fortune and Emily Henry, like the queens of summer beach reads, and I'm making my way. I'm working through it.
Honestly, with the number of books that they have right now, that's the other thing is that like it's doable. You look at someone like Ellen Hildebrand, who's another author that I love, and yeah, I want to make my way through her books. I'm gonna have to go a heck of a lot slower because she's got so many.
Well, do this,
So,
read it, and then report back.
Yes,
I will.
And report back after you read Every Summer After so that we can know like where you stand.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Bree and I
will.
will
Trust
keep
me.
our chat offline for now when I start it.
Yes.
But it's so good. And her books are beautiful.
They are.
Yes, I love the cover art. So nice.
Both her and Emily Henry are ones where like normally it's an audiobook or a Kindle book, obviously right for me, but they're ones that like I want to put on the bookshelf. They're pretty. Like I would,
Yeah, Every Summer After. This is one that I like loaned out and I never got it back. And so I bought it again.
Absolute worst.
I was like, I have to have it. Like,
yes.
Listen, I have a note on my phone. I created a note on my phone when I lend a book out.
I should.
I have my book
I should do
stamp.
that.
I have my
I
book
book
stamp.
stamp.
I
I book
stamp
stamp.
my book, so you know if you took it from me. Listen, my stamp is in there, so I know it's mine.
Yeah, I have one of those thanks to Megan. Although I had loaned this pre that. But I do know, like I know, and I've seen it in person. I know exactly where that book is. But that's okay. Now I have another copy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm so.
And it's the edges. Ladies, it's the edges. I'm
Is
just
it?
kidding.
It's like, wow. Okay.
They just like
Oh,
I was like, I have to
I'm
have it.
notoriously
So
bad for letting people borrow books, and then I don't know where they go. Even if I've stamped them,
It's like
It is what it
Sisterhood
is.
of the Traveling Pants, but
Yeah.
Sisterhood of the Traveling Books, and that's
Yes.
the
You know?
beauty of them is they roam free.
And maybe we've
Oh
talked
my
about this before or not, but like I am not a rereader, but I know Bree is. So like I'm just like, yeah, they're gone, whatever. But Bree is like, I want them back.
I
I'm
just
the
have an
same.
emotional attachment to them. I'm sorry. Like I know
No,
that's not.
there's nothing
I know
wrong
it
with
shouldn't
that.
matter, but I'm very emotionally attached to them, especially if I really liked it, because I'm like, I'll come back to you, I'll revisit you.
I'm a 50-50. If I am emotionally attached to the book, like, or then, or it's a collectible, or something like that, then it's just on my bookshelf. But I'm not a huge rereader.
Yeah.
And I'm with you on that one. It's more just like they make me smile, right?
Right.
That's why I'm in the room.
But see, like I'm not a big rereader, but I do still like to have like my shelves full.
Yeah.
So it is a little bit of a loss when I lose a book, but it's not because I'm going to go back to read it. It's more just, now I have a blank spot.
There's
I'm
that.
a library.
I
I want
feel
my
that.
stuff.
Yeah.
I
Georgia,
feel
are you a rereader or no?
Not typically. No. I have to really, really, really love something. And also like really, really, really be in the mood to reread it. And that's exceptionally rare, right? Like and as the TBR pile just continues to grow and grow, it's so hard for me to even consider rereading when I'm thinking about all of the other books that I want to read that I haven't opened the pages yet. And
You guys are
read.
telling me a lot about my mental health. And
It's not
Why?
a dig. This is not a dig
Why?
at you.
Why?
You're
why
just
I go to
unwell.
therapy.
You're
You're not wrong. So that's okay.
Oh my
The one
gosh.
I do need to donate Layla.
Oh God. Just
I
throw
will-
it in
I
the
will say-
trash.
What? Where's our button? Like the foghorn button. I'm looking for it. I will say, Brandon, I think we're at the end of our episode. The one book that I have reread, because I can't say I've never reread, but I have reread Little Women. And that is the one that I can read like over and over and over again, watch all the movie. Like that is the one that
I do love Little Women.
my
Interesting.
comfort story, if you will.
And
Megan's
that's
like,
like
I'm
such
now
a
questioning
classic.
all
Look
your
at you.
decisions. But maybe it's because I have two sisters, and so there's like a sister vibe with the story.
yeah.
But that's the one that I reread.
Classic.
There you go.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for tuning in to this month's reading recap. You can obviously rate, review, subscribe to the podcast, or follow us on Instagram, as well as Emily and Jordan.
Yes, you can find me on Instagram at Cozy Reads and Sips.
And you can find me at Bookstop-Bottles.
And we'll be back next month with another reading recap. Cheers.
Cheers.